The slave market of Zerion Prime stank of fear and sweat. Hundreds of cages lined the dirty streets under the orange alien sun. Inside those cages were beings from dozens of different worlds. Some had scales, some had fur, and some looked almost human. All of them had one thing in common. They were slaves. Zara pressed herself against the back wall of her cage. Her silver skin made her stand out among the other prisoners. The heavy metal chains around her wrists and neck felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. But the worst part was not the weight. The worst part was what the chains did to her mind. Before the chains, Zara could hear thoughts. She could feel emotions from other people. She could even speak into someone's mind if she tried hard enough. Her people, the Valerians, were all born with these gifts. But the chains took all of that away. They made her feel empty inside, like part of her soul had been cut out. A large insect creature walked past her cage. It had 4 arms and eyes like black marbles. This was a Thrak, one of the merchant races that ran the slave markets. The Thrak stopped and looked at her through the metal bars. "Fresh meat today," the Thrak said to another merchant. Its voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "This one is from Valeria. Very rare now. Good for housework or entertainment." Zara wanted to spit at the creature, but she had learned not to fight back. Fighting back only made things worse. She had tried to escape once 3 months ago. The punishment had been so bad that she still had scars on her back. The Thrak moved on, and Zara closed her eyes. She tried to remember her home world. She tried to remember the blue trees and the singing waterfalls. She tried to remember her mother's face. But the memories felt far away, like looking at pictures through dirty glass. A boot kicked the side of her cage. Zara opened her eyes and saw another slave master. This one was a Saros, a lizard-like creature with yellow scales and sharp teeth. He wore expensive clothes and had gold rings on his clawed fingers. "Get up, slave," the Saros hissed. "Customers are coming. Make yourself look pretty." Zara slowly stood up. Her legs were weak from sitting in the small cage for so long. The Saros opened the cage door and grabbed the chain around her neck. He pulled her out onto a small platform where other slaves stood in a line. "Today we have special offerings," the Saros called out to the crowd. "Fresh slaves from the outer worlds, all broken and trained, no trouble, no fights." The crowd was a mix of different alien races. Some came to buy slaves for their homes. Others came to buy workers for their mines or factories. A few came just to look and feel powerful. Zara had been sold 4 times in the past 3 years. Each master had been worse than the last. The first one had made her clean his house and serve his guests. The second one had made her work in his factory, lifting heavy boxes all day. The third one had been the worst. He had enjoyed hurting her just for fun. The fourth one had sold her here after she became too weak to work properly. "Look at this one," the Saros said, pulling on her chain. "Silver skin, very exotic. She used to have mind powers, but we fixed that problem. Now she is just a pretty decoration for your home." An alien with purple fur and 6 arms looked at her with interest. "How much?" it asked. 5,000 credits, the Saros replied. "She is worth much more, but I make special deal today." The purple alien walked away without buying. Others came and looked at her like she was a piece of furniture. They touched her arms and looked at her teeth. They talked about her like she was not even there. The day went on like this. The orange sun moved across the sky, and the market stayed busy. Zara's feet hurt from standing so long. Her throat was dry, but no one offered her water. She was just property now. Property did not need comfort. As the day started to end, fewer customers walked through the market. The Saros looked angry. He had not sold any of his slaves today. That meant Zara would probably get punished later. Masters did not like losing money. Then she saw him. A human walked into the market. Zara had heard of humans, but she had never seen one before. They were new to this part of the galaxy. This one was tall with dark hair and brown skin. He wore simple clothes, not fancy like the rich buyers. But there was something different about the way he moved. He looked around the market with disgust on his face. The human stopped in front of each cage. He looked at the slaves inside, and his face grew more angry with each step. When he reached Zara's platform, their eyes met. For a moment, Zara felt something she had not felt in a long time. She felt like someone was seeing her as a person, not as property. The human's eyes were kind, but also full of rage. Not rage at her, but rage at what was being done to her. The Soros noticed the human looking at Zara. Money signs flashed in his yellow eyes. "Ah, good sir," the Soros said with a fake smile. "You have excellent taste. This is my finest slave. Very rare, very beautiful. From the Valerian system." The human did not smile back. "How much?" he asked. His voice was quiet but strong. "For you, my friend, only 8,000 credits. She is worth much more, but I like humans. You are new to our galaxy, so I give good price." Zara expected the human to walk away like all the others. 8,000 credits was a lot of money, more than most people made in a year. But the human did not walk away. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device. He pointed it at the Soros, and numbers appeared in the air between them. "Transfer complete," the human said. The Soros looked shocked. He had expected to bargain for hours. Most buyers tried to get a lower price, but this human had just paid the full amount without even asking questions. "Excellent," the Soros said, trying to hide his surprise. "She is yours now. The ownership. Papers will be ready in 1 hour." The human looked at Zara again. This time he spoke directly to her, which surprised everyone around them. "What is your name?" he asked. Zara blinked in confusion. No one had asked her name in 3 years. Masters did not care about slaves' names. They just called them slave or you or it. "Zara," she whispered. Her voice cracked because she had not used it much lately. The human nodded. "My name is Marcus. Marcus Chen. You are going to be okay now." Zara did not believe him. She had heard promises before. But there was something in his voice that made her want to hope. Maybe, just maybe, things would be different this time. As the paperwork was completed and the chains of ownership changed hands, Zara wondered what would happen next. She was still a slave. She still wore the heavy chains that blocked her powers. But for the first time in years, she felt a tiny spark of something she had almost forgotten. She felt hope. Marcus Chen walked away from the slave market with Zara following behind him. The chain that connected her collar to his hand felt strange. All her other masters had pulled hard on the chain, dragging her like an animal. But Marcus held it loose, like he was just carrying it and not really using it. They walked through the busy streets of Zarion Prime. The city was full of noise and smells. Flying cars buzzed overhead. Aliens of all kinds pushed past them on the sidewalks. Nobody looked at Zara twice. Slaves were common here. Marcus stopped at a food stand and bought 2 bottles of water. He handed one to Zara without saying anything. She stared at it in shock. Masters did not share their food or drink with slaves. She looked up at his face, trying to understand if this was some kind of trick. "Drink it," Marcus said gently. "You look thirsty." Zara took the bottle with shaking hands. The water was cold and clean. She had not tasted anything so good in months. She tried to drink slowly, but she was so thirsty that she finished the whole bottle quickly. "Better?" Marcus asked. Zara nodded. She still did not trust him, but the kindness confused her. Maybe human masters were different, or maybe this was just the beginning, and he would show his true nature later. They continued walking until they reached the spaceport. Ships of all sizes filled the landing areas. Some were huge cargo vessels. Others were small personal craft. Marcus led her to a medium-sized ship that looked old, but well-maintained. Words were painted on the side in human letters. "Welcome to the Defiant Dawn," Marcus said as they walked up the loading ramp. Inside the ship, Zara heard voices, human voices. As they entered the main area, she saw 2 other humans waiting for them. One was a woman with short red hair and tough-looking clothes. The other was a man with grease on his hands and a friendly smile. The woman looked at Zara and then at Marcus. Her face showed confusion and anger. "Marcus, what the hell did you do?" the woman asked. "Please tell me you did not just buy a slave." "Sarah, meet Zara." Marcus said calmly. Zara, this is Sarah Torres, my second in command, and that is Wrench O'Sullivan, our engineer. Wrench wiped his hands on a dirty cloth and nodded at Zara. Nice to meet you, miss, he said with a thick accent. Welcome aboard. Sarah was not as friendly. She stepped closer to Marcus and lowered her voice, but Zara could still hear her. We are smugglers and traders, not slavers, Sarah said. What are you thinking? We could get in huge trouble for this. We are not slavers, Marcus replied. That is exactly the point. Then what is the point? Sarah asked. Why did you spend 8,000 credits on a slave? That money could have bought us fuel for 6 months. Marcus looked at Zara, then back at Sarah. Because it was the right thing to do. Wrench scratched his head. Captain, I'm not sure I understand either. What are we going to do with her? We are going to do something different, Marcus said. Something that should have been done a long time ago. Sarah shook her head. Marcus, I have followed you for 3 years. We have run from pirates, fought off customs officials, and survived. In the worst parts of the galaxy, but this is crazy, even for you. Trust me, Marcus said. Just trust me for a little while longer. Zara stood quietly during this conversation. She understood that she was causing problems for these humans. Part of her wanted to tell them to just sell her again. At least then Marcus could get his money back. But another part of her, a small part she had tried to keep hidden, wanted to see what would happen next. Marcus turned to her. Come on, let me show you where you will stay. He led her down a hallway to a small room. Inside was a bed, a desk, and a small bathroom. The room was simple but clean. It had a window that looked out at the spaceport. This is your room, Marcus said. Zara looked around in confusion. My room, but where is the cage? There is no cage, Marcus said. This is your space. You can close the door if you want privacy. You can open the window if you want fresh air. You can do whatever you want in here. I do not understand, Zara said. Where will I sleep? Marcus pointed to the bed. There. On the bed? Zara asked. But that is furniture. Slaves sleep on the floor. You are not sleeping on the floor, Marcus said firmly. You are sleeping on the bed. Like a person. Zara sat down on the edge of the bed. It was soft and comfortable. She had forgotten what a real bed felt like. For the past 3 years she had slept on cold metal floors or thin mats. Why are you being kind to me? She asked. What do you want from me? Marcus sat down in the chair across from her. I want you to remember something, Zara. Can you remember what it felt like to be free? The question hit her like a punch. Free? She had almost forgotten that word. Freedom was something from her old life, from before the war, before the chains. I was never free, she said quietly. Even on my home world there were rules. There were things I could not do. But you had choices, Marcus said. You could decide what to eat for breakfast. You could choose which clothes to wear. You could pick your friends. Small choices, but they were yours. Zara thought about this. Yes, she had made choices once. She had decided to become a teacher. She had chosen to live in the city instead of the countryside. She had picked the blue dress for the Harvest Festival. All of those decisions seem so long ago. The chains in your mind are harder to break than the chains on your body, Marcus said. But we are going to try. We? Zara asked. If you want to, Marcus said. The choice is yours. Before Zara could answer, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Sarah's voice came over the speakers. Marcus, get up here now. We have company. Marcus stood up quickly. Stay here, he told Zara. Lock the door if you want. We might have visitors. He left the room, and Zara was alone. She looked around at the small space that Marcus had called hers. She walked to the window and looked out at the spaceport. In the distance, she could see large military ships landing. Their hulls were painted with the symbols of the hegemony. Fear filled her chest. The hegemony did not like it when their property went missing. They especially did not like humans. who were still new to the galaxy and did not always follow the old rules. Zara heard footsteps running through the ship. She heard Marcus and Sarah talking quickly in the hallway. The ship's engine started up, making the walls vibrate. She could have opened the door and listened to what was happening. Marcus had said she could do whatever she wanted. But old habits were hard to break. When there was trouble, slaves stayed hidden and quiet. The ship lifted off the ground. Through her window, Zara watched the spaceport get smaller below them. The hegemony ships were moving too, following them into the sky. As they flew higher, Zara realized something important. For the first time in 3 years, she was not sure what would happen next. With her old masters, everything had been predictable: pain, work, sleep, repeat. But now there were possibilities. She did not know if Marcus was telling the truth about freedom. She did not know if the kindness was real or fake. She did not know if they would escape the hegemony ships or be captured. But for the first time in a very long time, she wanted to find out. And maybe, just maybe, that was the first step towards something better. The ship jumped into hyperspace, and the stars outside her window became long streaks of light. Zara sat on her bed, her chains still heavy on her wrists, and dared to hope that her story was not over yet. The ship traveled through hyperspace for 2 days. Zara stayed in her room most of the time, not sure what she was supposed to do. Every few hours, Wrench would bring her food and water. He always knocked on the door first and waited for her to answer. This was strange. Masters did not knock. They just took what they wanted. On the 3rd day, Marcus came to her room. He carried a small metal box in his hands. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "I am fine, Master," Zara said automatically. Marcus frowned. "Do not call me Master. My name is Marcus." Yes, Marcus," Zara corrected herself. It felt wrong to use his name, but she tried to do what he wanted. "I want to show you something," Marcus said. He set the metal box on her desk and opened it. Inside were chains, but not like any chains Zara had ever seen. These chains were made of gold. They were thin and delicate, with small gems that caught the light. They looked more like jewelry than restraints. Each link was carved with tiny symbols that seemed to glow softly. "What are those?" Zara asked. "These are for you," Marcus said. "But first, I need to remove the old ones." Zara stepped back in fear. "No, please. I know I have been good. I have not tried to escape. Please do not punish." "Portia, this is not punishment," Marcus said gently. "This is the opposite." He pulled out a small device that looked like a key. "These restraint chains are illegal in human space. They block your natural abilities and cause pain. I am going to remove them." "But if you remove them, I will be dangerous," Zara said. "My powers will come back. I might hurt someone without meaning to." "That is a risk I am willing to take," Marcus said. "The question is, are you willing to trust me?" Zara looked at his face. She had learned to read faces over the years. She could tell when someone was lying or planning to hurt her. But Marcus looked honest. More than that, he looked sad for her. Slowly, she nodded. Marcus moved carefully. He touched the device to the lock on her neck collar. There was a soft click and the heavy metal fell away. Immediately, Zara gasped. It was like taking a deep breath after being underwater for a long time. She could feel again, not just her own emotions, but the emotions of others around her. Marcus felt calm and hopeful. Somewhere else on the ship, Sarah felt worried and confused. Wrench felt curious and excited. "How do you feel?" Marcus asked. "I can hear thoughts again," Zara whispered. "I can feel what people are feeling." Marcus unlocked the chains on her wrists next. As each one fell away, Zara felt stronger. The empty feeling in her mind filled up again. She was becoming herself again. "Now," Marcus said, picking up the golden chains. "These are different. They will not block your powers. Instead, they will help you control them." "I do not understand," Zara said. Marcus held up one of the golden chains. "Your people have strong mental abilities. but they can be hard to control. These chains will help you focus your powers. They will make you stronger, not weaker. But they are still chains, Zara said. Yes, Marcus said. But these are chains you choose to wear. Each link represents a choice you get to make. The choice to stay or go. The choice to trust or doubt. The choice to help others or help yourself. He held out the golden collar. You do not have to wear these. You can say no. The choice is yours. Zara stared at the beautiful golden chains. Part of her never wanted to wear chains again. But another part of her understood what Marcus was trying to say. These were not chains of slavery. These were chains of choice. If I wear them, what happens? She asked. You will be able to control your telepathic abilities better than ever before, Marcus said. You will be able to help people. You will be able to protect yourself and others. And if I do not wear them? Then you do not wear them, Marcus said simply. You are free either way. Zara thought about this. Freedom was not just about having no chains. Freedom was about being able to choose your own chains. She reached out and touched the golden collar. It felt warm and alive. I choose to wear them, she said. Marcus smiled for the first time since she had met him. Are you sure? Yes, Zara said. I am sure. Marcus helped her put on the golden collar. As soon as it touched her neck, Zara felt a change. Her telepathic abilities did not go away. Instead, they became clearer and stronger. She could still feel the emotions of others, but now she could control how much she felt. She could turn the ability up or down, like adjusting the volume on a radio. The golden chains on her wrists felt light as air. When she concentrated, she could feel them connecting her to her own mind in a new way. She could focus her thoughts like a laser beam, or spread them out like a net. How do you feel now? Marcus asked. Zara closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. She could sense the whole ship. Sarah was in the control room, still worried but less angry than before. Wrench was in the engine room, happy that the ship was running well, and Marcus felt proud and hopeful. I feel like myself again, Zara said, but better, stronger. Good, Marcus said. Now I want to tell you something important. You are not my slave. You are not my property. You are a free person who happens to be on my ship. But you bought me, Zara said. You paid money for me. I paid money to free you, Marcus said. There is a difference. Zara looked down at her golden chains. They caught the light and sparkled like stars. What do you want me to do? Whatever you want to do, Marcus said. You can stay here and help us with our work. You can leave at the next station and start a new life. You can go back to your home world if it is safe. The choice is yours. What kind of work do you do? Zara asked. We smuggle things, Marcus said honestly. Medicine to planets that need it. Information to people who are fighting for freedom. Sometimes we help people escape from bad situations. Like you helped me? Yes, Marcus said. Like I helped you. Zara thought about this. She could leave and try to find her way back to Valeria, but her home world was controlled by the hegemony now. Her family was probably dead or enslaved. She had no money and nowhere to go. Or she could stay here with these humans who treated her like a person. She could use her abilities to help them, help others. I want to stay, she said. I want to help. Are you sure? Marcus asked. This work can be dangerous. We make enemies. People try to hurt us. People have been trying to hurt me for 3 years, Zara said. At least now I can fight back. Marcus nodded. Then welcome to the crew of the Defiant Dawn. As if on cue, Sarah's voice came over the ship's speakers. Marcus, we have a problem. There's a distress signal coming from a cargo ship. Sounds like they're under attack by pirates. Marcus looked at Zara. Ready for your first mission? Zara touched her golden chains and felt their power flowing through her. For the first time in years, she felt like she had a purpose. She was not just a slave anymore. She was not just a victim. She was someone who could make a difference. I am ready, she said. Together, they walked to the control room. Zara's golden chains sparkled in the light, beautiful and strong. She had chosen to wear them, and that choice had set her free. Zara followed Marcus to the control room. Sarah was at the pilot's seat, her fingers dancing over the controls. The main screen showed a map of nearby space with blinking red dots. "What's the situation?" Marcus asked. "Cargo ship called the Lucky Star," Sarah said. "They're carrying medical supplies to the Outer Rim colonies. 3 pirate ships are attacking them. The pirates want the medicine so they can sell it on the black market." "How far away?" Marcus asked. 20 minutes if we push the engines," Wrench said from his station. "But Captain, we're not a warship. Those pirates have bigger guns than us." Marcus looked at Zara. "Can you sense them? The people on the cargo ship?" Zara closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. Her golden chains grew warm as she focused her telepathic abilities. At first, she felt nothing. Then, like tuning into a radio station, she began to pick up thoughts and emotions from far away. "I can feel them," she said softly. "There are 12 people on the cargo ship. They are very scared. Some are hurt. They think they are going to die." "What about the pirates?" Marcus asked. Zara concentrated harder. The golden chains helped her focus her powers in ways she had never been able to before. "The pirates. They are angry and greedy. They do not care about the people. They only want the medicine." Sarah looked back at Marcus. "It's not our fight, Marcus. We could get killed trying to help them." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he looked at Zara. "What do you think we should do?" Zara was surprised by the question. No one had ever asked her opinion before. Masters gave orders, slaves followed them, but Marcus was asking her to choose. "Those people need help," she said. "If we do nothing, they will die. The medicine they carry could save thousands of people in the colonies. But if we help them, we might die too," Sarah said. "Is that worth the risk?" Zara thought about this. A few weeks ago, she would have said no. She would have chosen safety over helping strangers. But wearing the golden chains had changed something inside her. She felt connected to other people's pain in a way she had not felt for years. "Yes," she said firmly. "It is worth the risk." Marcus smiled. "Then let's go save some people. Sarah, take us in. Wrench, give me everything the engines have got." "You're both crazy," Sarah muttered. But she changed course toward the cargo ship. As they got closer, Zara could feel the fear from the Lucky Star getting stronger. She could also sense the pirates more clearly now. They were cruel and violent. They enjoyed hurting people. "The pirates have boarded the cargo ship," Zara said. "They are in the main cargo bay. The crew is hiding in the bridge, but the pirates are trying to break down the door." "Can you do anything to help?" Marcus asked. Zara touched her golden chains. She had never used her powers as a weapon before. On her homeworld, telepathy was used for communication and healing. But maybe, with the right focus, she could do more. "I can try something," she said. "But I need to get closer." "How close?" Sarah asked. "Very close," Zara said. "I need to be able to see their ship." Sarah groaned. "This keeps getting better and better." They approached the battle. The 3 pirate ships were small but fast. They had attached themselves to the cargo ship like parasites. The Lucky Star was much bigger but had no weapons. "There," Marcus said, pointing at the main screen. "Can you see them now?" Zara looked at the pirate ships and reached out with her mind. She could feel the pirates inside, their thoughts full of greed and violence. But she could also feel something else. Fear. Even bullies were afraid of something. She focused on the pirate captain, a large alien with too many arms and a cruel mind. She pushed into his thoughts carefully, like walking into a dark room. What she found there made her angry. The captain was not just a pirate, he was also a slave trader. He had sold hundreds of people, including children, to the same markets where Zara had been held. The golden chains around her wrists grew warm. Power flowed through them and into her mind. For the first time, Zara felt what it was like to have real strength. She whispered into the pirate captain's mind. Not words, but feelings. She showed him images of the slaves he had sold. She made him feel their fear and pain. She made him remember every cruel thing he had ever done. The pirate captain screamed and fell to his knees. His crew gathered around him, confused and frightened. "The captain is down," Sarah said, watching the scanner. "The other pirate ships are pulling back." "What did you do?" "I reminded him of his crimes," Zara said quietly. "Sometimes the worst punishment is remembering what you have done." But the other pirates were not giving up. The two remaining ships began firing at the Defiant Dawn. The ship shook as energy blasts hit the shields. "They're trying to disable us," Wrench called out. "Shields are holding, but not for long." Zara reached out to the cargo ship. "Lucky Star, this is Zara. Can you hear me?" The response came back in her mind, shaky and frightened. "We hear you. Are you here to help us?" "Yes," Zara said, "but I need you to do something. When I say run, turn on your engines and fly toward the nearest space station as fast as you can." "But the pirates are still attached to our ship," the cargo ship captain replied. "Not for long," Zara said. She turned to Marcus. "I need you to trust me. Fly directly at the cargo ship." "That's suicide," Sarah said. "We'll crash into them." "No," Zara said. "We will not. Trust me." Marcus looked into her eyes and saw something there he had not seen before. Confidence. Strength. The broken slave girl was gone. In her place was someone who knew her own power. "Do it, Sarah," Marcus said. Sarah shook her head but followed orders. The Defiant Dawn flew straight toward the massive cargo ship. At the last second, Zara reached out with her mind to the remaining pirates. She did not hurt them this time. Instead, she filled their minds with one simple idea: run away. The fear was so strong and so sudden that both pirate ships disconnected from the cargo ship and fled into hyperspace. "Now!" Zara called out to the Lucky Star. "Go!" The cargo ship's engines lit up and it jumped away to safety. The medical supplies would reach the colonies. Thousands of people would live because of what they had done today. Sarah stared at the empty space where the battle had been. "How did you do that?" "I made a choice," Zara said. "I chose to use my power to help instead of just survive." Over the next few weeks, word spread about the strange human ship with the telepathic crew member. More distress calls came in. A slave ship carrying children from the Outer Rim. A prison transport with political prisoners. A medical ship trapped by hegemony forces. Each time, Marcus asked Zara the same question: "What do you think we should do?" And each time, Zara chose to help. With every mission, she became stronger and more confident. The golden chains helped her focus her abilities in new ways. She could project thoughts across vast distances. She could sense lies and deception. She could even influence weak minds when necessary. But the most important thing she learned was not about her powers. It was about choice. Every day she chose to stay with Marcus and his crew. Every mission she chose to help others instead of just thinking about herself. Every time she put on the golden chains, she chose to be someone who made a difference. Sarah stopped complaining about the dangerous missions. Wrench started calling Zara the miracle worker. And Marcus. Marcus looked at her with respect and pride, like she was truly his equal. One night, as they traveled between star systems, Zara sat in her room, looking out at the stars. She touched her golden chains and thought about how much her life had changed. A few months ago, she had been a broken slave with no hope and no future. Now she was free. Not because someone had removed her chains, but because she had learned to choose her own chains. The golden chains represented everything she had decided to be: a protector, a helper, a free person who used her freedom to help others find theirs. Tomorrow there would be another choice to make, another chance to help someone who needed it. Another opportunity to prove that freedom was not about having no responsibilities, but about choosing which responsibilities to take on. Zara smiled and prepared for sleep. She had finally learned the most important lesson of all. True strength came not from being unchained, but from choosing how to use the chains you wore. The alarm bells rang throughout the Defiant Dawn. Zara ran to the control room where Marcus, Sarah, and Wrench were staring at the main screen. Outside, A massive hegemony fleet surrounded them. 20 warships, each one 10 times bigger than their small vessel. "How did they find us?" Sarah asked, her voice tight with fear. "They have been tracking us for weeks," Marcus said grimly, "ever since we started freeing slaves." On the main screen, a face appeared. It was Admiral Vex, a Soros with cold yellow eyes and scars across his scaled face. Zara recognized him immediately. He was the one who had destroyed her home world. "Captain Chen," Admiral Vex said, his voice like ice. "You have something that belongs to the hegemony. Return the Valerian slave, and we will allow you to leave." "She is not a slave," Marcus said firmly. "She is a free person." Admiral Vex laughed, a harsh sound that made Zara's skin crawl. "Nothing is free in this galaxy, human. Everything belongs to someone. That creature belongs to us. My name is Zara," she said, stepping into view of the camera, "and I belong to no one." The Admiral's eyes focused on her golden chains. "Interesting. You have upgraded your restraints, but chains are still chains, slave. You will return to your cage." "No," Zara said simply. "I will not." "Then you will all die," Admiral Vex said. "I have 20 ships. You have one. The mathematics are simple." Marcus looked at Zara. "Any ideas?" Zara closed her eyes and reached out with her mind. The golden chains grew warm as she extended her telepathic abilities further than ever before. She could feel the hegemony fleet around them. Thousands of soldiers and crew members. But she could also feel something else. "There are slaves on those ships," she said quietly. "Hundreds of them. They work in the engine rooms and cargo bays. They are not part of the military, but they keep the ships running." "Can you reach them?" Marcus asked. "Maybe," Zara said, "but it would take all my power, and I would need time." "How much time?" Sarah asked. 10 minutes, Zara said. "Maybe 15. I can give you 5, Sarah said, checking her instruments. "After that, they will destroy us." Admiral Vex's voice came over the speakers again. "You have 1 minute to surrender." Marcus looked around at his crew. "Any other options?" "We could try to run," Wrench suggested. "Jump to hyperspace and hope for the best." "They would follow us," Sarah said, "and they are faster than we are." "We could fight," Marcus said. "Go down swinging." "And die for nothing," Sarah replied. Zara touched her golden chains and felt their warmth. "There is another choice," she said, "but it is dangerous." "More dangerous than dying?" Marcus asked. "Yes," Zara said, "because if it works, everything changes. Not just for us, but for everyone." She explained her plan quickly. Marcus listened with growing amazement. Sarah shook her head in disbelief. Wrench whistled softly. "That is completely insane," Sarah said. "It is also our only chance," Marcus said. "Do it." Admiral Vex appeared on the screen again. "Time is up, humans. Prepare to die." But instead of firing, Zara stepped forward. She placed her hands on the ship's communication array and linked her mind to it through her golden chains. The chains began to glow brighter than ever before. "This is Zara of Valeria," she broadcast, her voice carrying through space to every ship in the fleet. But she was not just speaking with words. She was speaking with her mind, her emotions, her memories. Every slave in the hegemony fleet heard her voice in their heads, not just the words, but the feelings behind them. They felt her pain from years of captivity. They felt her joy at being freed. They felt her strength and her hope. "You have a choice," she told them. "You can stay in your cages, or you can choose freedom. I cannot force you to be free. No one can force freedom on another person, but I can show you that it is possible." Through the ship's sensors, she watched as slaves throughout the fleet began to move. In the engine rooms, Valerian workers stopped what they were doing and looked up. In the cargo bays, human prisoners stood straighter. In the kitchens, alien servants put down their tools. "You are not alone," Zara continued. "You are not powerless. Every one of you has the ability to choose. Choose now." Admiral Vex's face appeared on the screen, twisted with rage. "What are you doing? Stop this immediately." But it was too late. On ship after ship, the slaves were rising up. They outnumbered the soldiers 10 to 1. Years of anger and pain finally had an outlet. Zara felt their emotions flowing through her golden chains, fear turning to courage, despair becoming hope, helplessness transforming into power. The first ship to fall was Admiral Vex's flagship. The Valyrian slaves in the engine room shut down the power. Human prisoners in the detention center broke free and captured the weapons locker. Alien workers throughout the ship turned on their guards. One by one, the other ships began to go dark. Some slaves chose to fight. Others chose to hide. A few chose to take control of their ships entirely. But all of them chose something, and that was what mattered. Impossible, Admiral Vex snarled from his darkened bridge. They are just slaves. They cannot think for themselves. They are people, Zara said firmly. They have always been people. You just forgot how to see them. The Admiral pulled out a weapon and pointed it at his own crew. I will kill every slave on this ship before I let them go free. But his own soldiers were looking at him differently. Now, Zara's broadcast had reached them too. Some of them had families who were slaves. Some of them remembered what it felt like to be free. One of the soldiers, a young Saros with kind eyes, stepped forward. No, Admiral, the war is over. Admiral Vex fired his weapon, but the soldier was faster. The Admiral fell, and with him fell the last symbol of the old way of thinking. Across the fleet, similar scenes played out. Some fights were violent. Others were peaceful. But in every case, the slaves had chosen their own fate. Zara collapsed, exhausted from the effort. Marcus caught her as she fell. Did it work? She whispered. Marcus looked at the screens showing the hegemony fleet. Most of the ships were now under the control of former slaves. Others were flying away, their crews no longer willing to fight. A few had surrendered completely. It worked, he said with amazement. It actually worked. In the days that followed, the news spread across the galaxy. The great hegemony fleet had been defeated not by weapons or warfare, but by the simple power of choice. Slaves on 1,000 worlds heard the story and began to hope. Some chose to rebel. Others chose to escape. A few chose to stay but demanded better treatment. But all of them chose something, and that choice changed everything. Zara recovered quickly. The golden chains had protected her mind during the massive telepathic effort. As rescue ships arrived to help the freed slaves, she stood at the window of her room and watched them go. Some would return to their homeworlds. Others would start new lives on free planets. A few asked to join Marcus and his crew in their work. Any regrets? Marcus asked, joining her at the window. Zara touched her golden chains and smiled. Only that it took me so long to understand. Understand? What? That freedom is not about breaking chains, she said. It is about choosing which chains to wear. I choose to be chained to hope, chained to compassion, chained to the belief that everyone deserves the chance to choose their own path. Marcus nodded. And what path do you choose now? Zara looked out at the stars, thinking of all the people still waiting for someone to show them that choice was possible. The same path we have been walking, she said. Together, the defiant dawn turned toward the next system, toward the next group of people who needed help remembering that they had choices. Zara's golden chains caught the starlight, beautiful and strong, a symbol of freedom chosen rather than freedom given. She had learned the greatest truth of all. The chains that bound people together in common cause, in shared hope, in mutual respect, were the strongest chains of all. And unlike the chains of slavery, these were chains that made everyone who wore them truly free.